So Sukuna is pulling his fire arrow from the cursed realm. Before I start, obviously check out the guy who made this, or girl. They made an amazing theory and it's one of the best ones, and they gave me obviously the props to use this. So firstly, we'll be talking about the 5 main key things that we'll be talking about. The first is the cursed realm is a space between dreams and reality, and sorcerers and cursed spirits mainly perceive it as their dying. The second part will be for humans, it is darkness. For cursed spirits, it is light. The third part will be the cursed realm stores soul information and is possibly where souls reside to. The fourth is the scene where Sukuna tells to Itadori within his domain occurs. Within the cursed realm, the sorcerer's inner domain is simply their conceptualization of the cursed realm, and domain expansion is the forced manifestation of the cursed realm into reality. That's why Sukuna calls it true Jujustu. When Sukuna said black box open, he's actually opening the cursed realm and pulling stored soul information into himself. He gains soul information by consuming human bodies / souls, which is the physical tether needed to essentially incarnate that soul into his body, because the souls of cursed spirits are not permanent. They experience reincarnation in which they've made the same energy but with different souls. So Sukuna says that cursed spirits wouldn't get it. And these 5 things will be explained back to why Sukuna is pulling his fire arrow techniques from the cursed realm. Without further ado, obviously like, comment, share, subscribe, and we'll start on with the theory. So first, we've arguably seen the cursed realm 4 times. First it was with Jogo and when Sukuna popped in, then Mai and Maki, Kenjaku and Itadori's classmate, and finally Panda and his siblings in the recent chapter. As Kenjaku said, it's the space between dreams and reality, which suggests that it is not a physical plane of existence, but is instead a way for humans and cursed spirits to conceptualize the moments before death passing on. And so here are some things that we know. For humans, it is darkness. For cursed spirits, it is light. Cursed spirits reincarnate. They are literal energy very much akin to light. So for them, death is merely a step in the cycle. Perhaps this is why Hanami, Dagon, and Jogo were framed in a pure white backdrop, ready to take the next stretch of their journey together. And this was shown obviously with each time they would pass away and moving on to what we could assume is the cursed realm. For humans though, death is the end. Panda and his brother and sister are human. To create an independent cursed corpse, a sorcerer must replicate soul information from physical information, then input that into cursed corpse cores. They were created from human souls, so must suffer a human death. Indeed, we see Panda's brother and sister being left behind, dragged deeper into death by their dad, who had glasses, facial hair similar to Principal Yaga. Gorilla falls unconscious, dreaming of nothing but darkness before suddenly waking up in the woods near his childhood home, which is presumably a place of comfort. Just like Mai falls unconscious through dark water before awakening on a tranquil beach. Also a place of comfort. It's the same pattern. Upon near death or death, you experience disconnect before waking up to the location. Then you obviously will have to leave that location, and that was seen with Gorilla being dragged away and with Mai walking into the waves. Part 2. The cursed realm stores soul information. This one seems obvious in hindsight, and we clearly see the recently deceased Hanami and Dagon talking to Jogo, ready to move on together. And we also seen some form of Principal Yaga, perhaps just his soul with no body. Moreover, Granny Ogami must be pulling soul information from somewhere. Her techniques essentially allows her to perform a full or partial incarnation. She chooses partial because she only wants the body and not the personality. This is very similar to Kenjaku's ability, which is essentially to incarnate into another sorcerer's body, replacing their brain, agency, personality with their own. Shown with Kenjaku, who does not mention that, but since body and soul equal the same for him, he somehow gets the person's memories and a measure of their personality. And that was shown with obviously the indication Gato. Perhaps Kenjaku was even the one to pioneer artificial incarnation, but what is clear is that he's an expert in this field, the one that every sorcerer went to for their incarnation needs. He may also be the only one who can transverse the cursed realm in what seems to be natural form and more crucially bring people alongside with him. It is important to note that both Ogami and Kenjaku use physical corpses or body parts to incarnate long dead sorcerers into modern humans. What they want is the soul information, but the body, the tether, is needed to access it. This makes sense with what we've seen of the cursed realm. Souls don't seem to stay put. For Kenjaku to reliably get them back, he would need some sort of connection to them. Number 3. Sukuna can access the cursed realm. Let's start simple. Geiji presents Sukuna as a being with a number of unexplained abilities, such as the power to exist separately from Itadori, changes soul information to create mouths and eyes, block an unblockable idol transfiguration delivered via domain expansion, linger for a long period of time after death, and of course the ability to use a curse technique that does not seem to be his own. In fact, every one of his appearances includes him displaying some previously unheard of ability that even Gojo cannot use. Gage is obviously setting up for some huge reveal. So why exactly is Sukuna the king of curses? Let's guess. According to the wiki, Sukuna's soul is able to exist independently within Yuji's body by residing within his innate domain. Why does Sukuna need to do this? Because Yuji's soul is strong. The guys like Maki and Toji in fact. We literally see Toji overwhelm, push out another sorcerer's soul when Granny Ogami incarnates him. Very similar to what old sorcerers do to modern humans. The only time Sukuna is in control is when Yuji either lets him have it or when Yuji eats too many Sukuna fingers, which is essentially the overwhelming introduction of more soul information. It's possible that 20-finger Sukuna will be able to contend with or even defeat Yuji, but that remains to be seen. For now, the fact that Sukuna is alive is a miracle. Or is it? So here's a twist. That scene where Sukuna talks to Itadori in his inner domain after his death, that actually takes place in the Cursed Realm. We can infer this based on a few context clues. One, Itadori could not physically be within himself, so the Itadori we see must be his soul. Instead of passing on, however, Itadori is anchored partially to be living world by Sukuna's power hash domain, which now seems eerily similar to Maki's Hajimai's beach and Panda's child home. Want more parallels? Geiji has confirmed that even Sukuna would eventually have passed on given enough time, just like Mai and Gorilla and his sisters passed on. Moreover, Itadori wakes up after a period of unconsciousness in Sukuna's inner domain, just like Maki and Gorilla in their respective dreamscapes. With no memory of how he got there, even moreover, Maki and Mai modified their soul information with their short time in the Cursed Realm, just like Sukuna, who is always in his inner domain, modifies his own soul information to create mouths and eyes as well as forming a binding vow with Itadori. An innate domain, normally referred to simply as a domain, is an area created in the user's mind that can be manifested using curse energy. A domain is a metaphysical territory that exists within its creator's mind. Could it be said that an inner domain is simply a space between dreams and reality? Could it be said that a sorcerer's inner domain is a conceptualization of the cursed realm? When Sukuna uses domain expansion for the first time, he calls it true Jujutsu, and general consensus is that it's the hardest ability to master. If we follow that logic, domain expansion would then be the manifestation of the cursed realm into reality. All other sorcerers need a barrier to keep their realm separate from the real world to impose their reality onto another sorcerer. But not Sukuna. His understanding of the cursed realm is so stark that he does not need a barrier to contain his imaginary realm. To him, it is real. This could also be highlighted in a video I did where we could see in Shibuya where Sukuna talks about the fact that his domain is that of an art piece brought to life. It could be similar in the fact that it's the bringing of his cursed realm technique to life, an example of the cursed realm beings being brought there. This explanation would even work with the manga explanation for Sukuna's domain by creating a domain without a barrier, something only he can do if he creates a binding vow that extends the domain range of effect. Sukuna also pops into Jogo's version of the cursed realm. Him being able to do so explains how he knows about cursed spirit souls' work. Physically, they are still outside the realm, fighting, but within Jogo is already preparing to die. 4. Sukuna is pulling his fire arrow technique from the cursed realm via incarnation. So now we have all the pieces in front of us. The cursed realm stores soul information according to Agami. You can incarnate only the body and its abilities, so not to worry about the previous owner of the body. This is also how Kenjaku's technique works. Though it is revealed that there is some overlap between the two, Toji and Geto rebelling, Sukuna can therefore incarnate another sorcerer's ability in himself, so long as he is strong enough to handle their body/soul. But as is also revealed, souls move on are therefore hard to locate, so Sukuna eats people physically and spiritually, tying them to himself. When Sukuna says black box open, he is accessing that stored soul information, which implies that the black box is actually the cursed realm in its natural form, as depicted by Kenjaku's scene with Itadori's classmate. Finally, the souls of cursed spirits are not permanent because they reincarnate. In fact, the experience of the cursed realm is fundamentally different from a human's, and this is why Sukuna, upon showing off his fire arrow, says Jogo and cursed spirits in general would not understand this ability. So what do you guys think? Obviously, I'm gonna say again, please check out his post. He did so much effort into this, and I think it was beautifully done. I've only added separate things which I thought were necessary, as well as editing the video and making sure it looks clean. But thank you guys for watching, and obviously like, comment, share, subscribe.